หลวงปู่'s reflection on the 1st of August 2023 When หลวงปู่ was walking toward his seat, he was saying to himself that we are living in the forest, we are living in up country, which is like not in the city. And then after he sat down, he told the audiences to sit comfortably and let's feel at ease, mentally at ease and physically at ease. He wanted to start the talk right away, but he had to wait for us to pay respect, like we were busy paying homage by bowing down and never was ready to hear his teaching. So he said this is too much of a ritual. To pay a lot of respect will make him lose the moment, like it will make everything delay. So let's not be stuck with performing ritual, like stuck with doing a lot of paying respect because we will delay in Dhamma. The word Pitigam in Thai could be translated to English as rite, worship, ritual, ceremony. So if we do a lot of ritual, rite, worships and ceremony, it will not be direct to the Dhamma. So there is 3 steps in learning Dhamma. The first one is to study the principle of Dhamma. The second is to put it into practice. And the third one is to experience the attainment from the learning and practicing. We have to study the principle or learn the theory of Dhamma, and then we can put it into practice. So the Buddhist rite and ritual or the ceremony is considered part of the practice. It is the Buddhist custom. When you see people bow down on the ground or on the floor, it means that they are Buddhists. So when you are coming to hear Dhamma, you should sit in the way of liberation or non-attachment. If you have learned about Buddhism, you should know the importance of today. So today is the day that the Buddha gave his first discourse. The first sermon that the Buddha gave at the Deer Park is called the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. This sutra was taught by the Buddha almost 3,000 years ago, or over 2,500 something years ago, and it still have impression within the minds of the Buddhists. It has the powerful imprint in the Buddhist mind. On the same full moon day, on the 8th lunar month 2,500 something years ago, the first 5 disciples of the Buddha, Gontanya, Vappa, Mahanama, Pattiya, and Assachi, were the first 5 disciples that the Buddha gave this Dhamma discourse to. หลวงปู่ said that even the Buddha has done wrong practices, like use the approaches that would not facilitate his enlightenment for 6 years. So it was the mistaken way that he followed when he practiced with that first 5 disciples before he came to the middle way and got enlightened. So he came back to the 5 disciples that were practiced with him and follow the wrong approaches for 6 years. So he said, even the perfect man, a great man like the Buddha, can make mistake. So ordinary human can also make mistake also. So หลวงปู่ said for us not to try to find faults or blame others for their mistakes. Some people find faults or blame other people because of they feel jealous, so they try to make the other party look bad or seem bad because of their mistakes. Some Buddhists are blaming monks and nuns for eating after lunch because they have fixation that monks should not eat when it's past lunchtime. So this is not the way for us to do, like to blame or looking for mistake and say bad things about others. Let's not fixate to being right or being wrong. The Buddhas left the worldly way at the age of 29 and got enlightened at the age of 35. So he spent 6 years practice in a very difficult way, very serious, like self-mortification, practice very hard. It was almost kill him because the practice include like starvation, like eating very little, resting very little. So he was very hard on himself. However, when he came to the middle way, which is not too much like pampering himself or indulge in the worldly way and not like seriously practice to attain enlightenment, he became enlightened on the Visak day. Visakha Busha in Thai is the day that the Buddha, we believe that the Buddha was born, enlightened and died on the full moon day on the 6th lunar month, and 2 months after his enlightenment he traveled to the Deer Park and gave the first sermon to his first 5 disciples.
สักมือเจ้ามือซึ่งอะไรนี่นะมือซึ่งปัญญาในที่ทุกคน
Luang Pu was trying to recite the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta or the first sermon that the Buddha gave on the full moon night of the 8th lunar month, but he said because the memory element is falling under the impermanent character, so he had forgotten. He could not remember the whole chanting of this sutra. After the Buddha finished this discourse, Kuntanya, which was one of the 5 disciples, enlightened to the truth that he gave and became the first Buddhist monk. So the Asalha Busha Day is the day that we have the complete triple gem, which is the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Then Luang Pu turned to the 2 Vietnamese nuns that came to see him on that day. He said to them that now they are having their new birth. They are born into new form in Thailand, so they should have Thai names. So he gave them name as Jantra, which means the moon, because today is the full moon. And then another one is Thong Chan, which means golden moon. Then Manning told Luang Pu about Dr. Heung messages that she wants me to tell Luang Pu. And Luang Pu said, "It's okay, you don't need to praise me. We are close comrades." Luang Pu complained to himself about how he cannot remember things as well as when he practiced in the forest, because when he was in solitude and practiced alone, his mind was so clear. The mind power make him remember things very easily. When he reads something, he can remember it right away. And now he want to chant the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, which is the first sermon of the Buddha. He can only remember first 2 lines, and then the memory just lost. However, when he practiced, he can see that his mind wander all over the place. It's follow the mind fabrication. Sometimes he fancy him being the patriarch and wonder what it would be like if he became the head of all the Thai monks. And sometimes his mind would fancy him floating in the flying balloon, and imagine how would it feel to be able to float with the flying balloon to places like that. So the mind has its own ways to create imaginations, all sort of fancies and imaginations. So the mind can give great delusion from the fabrication. Sometimes he sees that the world is flowing like the tide that is flowing and following the evolution. And sometimes he imagined that the world will face the world war or be destroyed by nuclear weapon or atomic bomb. And his mind made him think that can he stop it? Can he use his mind power to prevent it from happening, to help the world from being destroyed? After following his thought for a while, then he found out that it was just restlessness. His mind just like becoming restless and wander all over the place. It was not centered. Sometimes he thought of himself as the leader of the world, like king of the world, when he sat on the peak of the mountaintop. He sat in the place that is very easy for him to fall off the cliff and maybe got injured or got killed. But he sat very high on the rock, on the peak of the mountaintop, and imagined himself to be the king of the world, the most powerful man, and he wants to stop the nuclear bomb or atomic bomb to prevent the world from being destroyed. And then he realized that this is the world karma. So the world has to flow according to its karma also. No one can stop the karma. So when he stopped the restless mind and focused back to where he was sitting, and he got into the deep meditative absorption attainment state, and he was vanished from where he was sitting. He was not there with his physical body. He would be traveling very far from where he was sitting, far from the world. Don't know where he went, how many light years he has gone, until the mind strength has become weakened, and then it came back to his physical body. The body notified him that he needs some food. He felt hungry, so he has to go for begging for food. His physical body was very weak, tired, and suffered from hunger. So he knew that he must have left the physical body for many days, on tour by his mind. And when he came back, the physical body was like very tired and hungry. So it meant that he has left the body for many days. He must have traveled very far away to multiverses and back to times, to many uncountable past life. Later, Luang Pu wrote a poem about visiting the place in his meditative absorption. It says, that was the boundary of time, accumulated for a long time to become a collective of beliefs that are powerful in themselves. They are ultra thin and shorter than a second. So even a million lifetime, หลวงปู่ could visited all the past million lifetimes in a second. That was how powerful and fast the mind ability could have. The Buddha was the superb awakened one 2,500 years ago. That was the greatest things happened to this planet Earth. The enlightenment of the Buddha was the sublime thing. For the sages that practiced up on the mountain and became enlightened, when they challenge one another, they would not like fight physically or hurt or harm one another. They would just challenge one another that how much you can count the stars, who can count the stars more effective than the other. If one can break through or enlighten to the superpower and can have the special insight to see the mighty universe or multiverse, they would know that they are so like not important. They are so like worthless. They are not so mighty as the ordinary people think they are. They are very small compared to the mighty universe or multiverse. Then หลวงปู่ turned to Manning. I have no choice. I was alone in solitude and seclusion and practice all by myself. I have no one to talk to, so I only see my own thoughts. And then he gave a very well-known proverb. I think it's from the story of the Three Kingdoms, very famous Chinese literary masterpiece or the epic. The proverb say, when you are staying alone, be careful with your thoughts. When you stay together with friends, be careful with your words. However, many of us sometimes mindlessly doing mistake, like carelessly or mistakenly doing wrong because we are with the world. So sometimes we are not careful with our words and actions and thoughts. So we tend to waste our time for nonsense. We don't know that everything has no substance. There is nothing real for us to grasp for. There is nothing at all. หลวงปู่ also has his regrets when he thought that he had wasted his time. Why didn't he become monks or novice when he able to read and write, and when he already know what is what? Why don't he became an ordained person? Why he waste his life indulge in the worldly way for many years before he discovered the path that is like worth following. However, now he already know that whatever path is already in the past, he won't feel regret anymore. So it's just the past that already passed by. So now he use all his past experience to share with us, to tell us that what is good and what is not good, what is like not worth living for. Then he recited the verse that he wrote. It says, "Putting on my shoes and tread all over the land. Life is chaotic and wasted. There is nothing. All is nonsense and has no essence." Then he shared a humorous joke about his study path, that he began his education at the kindergarten in Thailand, but studied primary school in Australia, then studied high school in Germany. He graduated with bachelor degree from England and got his master degree from America. When people ask him, "What about PhD? Where did you earn your PhD from?" He laughed and said, "It's from a temple called Wat Pai Tan, or the solid bamboo temple." Luang Pu said, if you are easy to understand humor, you will laugh. But if you are a serious person, you would ask him, what your teacher or professor taught you when you studied PhD or doctor degree. Luang Pu will reply saying that my teacher only taught me 3 things, which is the 3 characteristics of nature, or the 3 marks of existence, which are Aniccang, Dukkhaṃ, Anattā, the impermanence, suffering or dissatisfactoriness, and not self. He got awakened only from these 3 things. He said for the audiences that sat in front of him on that day, they were close relationship with him, like a close relative, and he feel easy to ask them if, for example, if he cough, he can ask for like cough medicine from them. So they are just like relative. He requested the audience not to see evil as goodness, but the way he said it, he compared evil to deadful weapon. In English is called the rowell, or the disc sharpened weapon. And goodness he compared to lotus flower. So don't see this sharpened weapon as being a lotus flower. Like, don't have misperception. Don't have the wrong view. And he requested us to see all things at the ultimate level to see the true reality of all and everything. Like when you see handsome man, don't just see the outside appearance. You have to see right through inside the physical body that is only like bone structure. Just see the skeleton covered with flesh and blood. Then he recited the verse that he shared many times before, which say, to enlighten the Buddha's Dhamma is to see the truth at the ultimate level by aiming to see all things according to their true reality. Knowledge can arise if there is no seeing, though it is true that one sees. The whatever seen is not